It's time for some song facts.
I'm gonna ride, yeah.
Today I want to tell you a story. With my brand new single, This Love, coming out literally this Friday, I was taking a look back recently at the weird process this production went through to get from where it started literally years ago to where it is now. First of all though, if you haven't already, check out the links in the description of this video. Pre-save that song on your favorite streaming or download service. Share that opportunity with a friend. Let me tell you, it really helps when it comes to the release of the song being impactful and getting to more and more ears. Okay, story time. Years ago, probably 5+ years ago, maybe even more now, I was shooting a video for my church. It was just a promotional video. I was the spokesperson, I was doing some voiceover, and I was also editing and doing most of the production myself. I did shoot it with the help of some friends. At the time, I didn't really know much about royalty-free music or licensing music. And I had kind of an artsy vision for the video anyway, so I figured, well, I'll just do the music myself too. So that's really where This Love started. It was an instrumental track for a promo video. I sat down to produce some stuff and I played almost a random piano melody in F minor. Then I took that sample and I reversed it because, you know, we're producers. We like reversing audio samples to make them sound interesting and otherworldly. And really that's how it started, just some random notes in F minor, turned backwards, and it became the sound bed for that video. Mission accomplished. Okay, so fast forward a little bit. I started getting interested in writing some music for my church so that we could use in worship. And I wanted to do something though that was maybe a little bit more artsy, a little bit unexpected for that type of music. I grabbed this instrumental piece. I was like, all right, I'm gonna write some lyrics with this. And that's where these lyrics really came from. It combines two ideas. The first idea is that, you know, people are writing love songs all the time, but without Jesus, they don't really have the full picture. And then on the other hand, you know, that this is big in music for me, leaning into the personal choice part of it, choosing to actively take part in that love relationship. And then musically, I wanted to do some interesting, unexpected things without throwing off the person singing along or listening, but, you know, just having some different chord changes from chorus to chorus, stuff like that. I started to demo this out. I started to figure out how it would be performed live. And that's where, man, I think like 2 or 3 different versions, rough versions came out of that. One had like a saxophone pretty prominently in certain parts of it. Other versions, other parts had like these kind of roiling, rock-inspired rhythm guitars. It was very piano-driven otherwise. So multiple versions of this existed that then I started to perform either at church, you know, with our worship team, or perform live with the band. And that's kind of where it sat for a long time. And every once in a while I'd have somebody be like, hey, we like this song, we really enjoy it, where can we get it? And I was like, it just was never on the top of my priorities list. There was always, you know, I was producing Rise. I didn't really know how I wanted to approach the sound of the final production. And honestly, I'm glad I waited, because it was first written at a time when Samuel Day and Reclaimers, they weren't two separate things. Reclaimers didn't even exist yet. I know more now than I knew then. And I would have separated those sounds a lot sooner. At the time, hard rock all the way to pop and worship music was happening all under just Samuel Day. And I thought that was cool. I still think that's cool. But I had to learn that, you know, those things can flourish a little bit better in their own gardens. Fast forward, and I had gotten that question a few times, but it was just never a priority. Then I got to perform the song on a special TV broadcast for CMS TV, for Christian Media Spotlight. I had to throw something together almost last minute, so I remember just in a couple hours on a Thursday, it was like a Thursday afternoon, I sat down in front of the camera and I decided I'm gonna just do a piano and vocals version of this song so that I have something to give them for their broadcast. And it turned out to be something really special. I was like, wow, this is pretty good.
Ever strong, strong in this love. Your light
then some of their listeners and some of their viewers started getting a hold of me or commenting saying, wow, we really enjoyed that. Where can we get this song? And I was like, okay, it's probably time to finally produce this out and put out this song. And I'm glad that I waited until now, as in the last, especially the last couple of years, I've been learning a lot more about the pop production side of things, about the modern production side of things. You see, I come from, where production is concerned, a background in the rock and the hard rock world, and even a somewhat more organic world of like producing some funk and stuff like that. But a lot of where I came from was rock oriented. So when I sat down to produce this now, after having songs like, especially like Rise under my belt, I was like, okay, I'm capable of producing like it's 2021 and I'm making a pop tune or a worship tune, because now I've got experience in both of those worlds. And even still, it was a little bit challenging at first, because the roots of that song were so rooted in instruments that I had played, you know, the rhythm guitars, the piano basses, even what was I going to do with that saxophone melody. And the original version of the song was like really long, like may have been 5+ minutes long, 5.5 or something like that. And I was like, how can I, make this a little bit more concise to be effective? So I started thinking, okay, let's take the electric guitar parts and we'll make them acoustic guitar parts, and record out the piano and we'll make it the basis for what I'm doing, but then maybe push that back in the mix and challenge myself to put some more electronic production elements up front. And I think that the end result of going through that process is really beautiful. You can still hear the organic soul of where that song started. That actual original reverse piano gesture is still in there. If you know it's there, you can hear it. You can hear it there in the intro of the song. But then so much more pretty stuff got sprinkled over the top, and I'm glad that it landed where it did. So if you're a music producer or you're a musician and you have a story like that, I would love to hear it, because this song was on the back burner for, like I said, like 5 or 6 years, and it went through 2 or 3 or 4 different versions to finally get to where it is today. And I think that there's, honestly, potential for some remixing of this song down the line too. But I'm just excited about where it is now. I'm super pumped about the release coming out this Friday, May the 7th. Again, if you haven't already, check out the links in the description of this video. Help support the release by sharing, by pre-saving, and here in just a few days, you have another great piece of music. Until next time, I love you, Jesus loves you, onward and upward.